We can't make you a morning person, but we can make your mornings better. Switch on to 94.3 Royal FM. Brings you the 8 at 8. 8 big questions for a bigger conversation. Sponsored by MTN. MTN. Everywhere you go.
Monday morning conversations come in handy, and our focus is really on personal development. And we have our coach in the studios with us. He's also a firm, profound Manchester United supporter. How you doing today?
You have to bring that up because I think yesterday you scored.
You scored two goals.
I don't know what is going on about. I don't know what's Manchester United.
To be actually precise, you beat Manchester City.
I do not support European clubs. And European
but did I tell you how
football.
you look good today? I like your T-shirt. Is it made in Rwanda?
Yes, I think this is something made in Rwanda.
Yeah, that is nice. It's cool. And the chain. What are you up to do on a Monday? Why are you dressed like that? Are you in the holiday season already?
It's vibes now.
I see. This is too much. The chain, the whole chain, and then the T-shirt.
We're in that final week of the year where everything is vibes now.
It's vibes
Merry
on
Christmas,
vibes.
Nasa.
Party on party.
Merry Christmas. So we have to work, yes, but we don't have to die in the process of,
Working.
suits and stuff and whatever.
I wanted to ask Nasa as we get into the conversation for today. What is that one unusual or unexpected hobby that you've taken up recently? And if you could just tell us how it came about.
The thing about hobbies is first.
Can you first tell us what a hobby is? What is it?
I mean, because we are that part of the year where people need to go into the new year and come up with resolutions and do that sort of thing. I don't know
New
if you
year,
guys
new
do
me?
that sort of thing where you plan for
me, I
the
don't
next
do
12
resolutions.
months and you do resolutions and then
I
you
don't.
do not. You realize the ones for last year were not realistic and you didn't meet any of them, and then you feel bad about yourself, and then you get yourself a pack of donuts and I don't know, and you eat and the whole cycle starts again, right? So this year I'm going to give you guys a definition of what hobbies are, so you get yourselves hobbies. Don't do resolutions, just get a hobby. Like, find something to do that's not a relationship, because a relationship is not a hobby. Yeah.
A relationship is not a hobby.
No. Okay, so the thing is, today we are talking about hobbies, right? Just say I'm not giving you an answer because that's me outing myself. And
No, but we could talk about a hobby you chose, like to spend 9 hours in the gym.
Nah.
You wanted to say that.
Nah. Anyway, so let's get into a hobby. So a hobby is something you do, right? That regularly for fun and relaxation. I'll give you an example. If you're recording like Instagram videos for your cat because you like posting your cat, then that's a hobby, right? But if you're recording these Instagram
So
videos,
influencers have made money out of
no, there's a difference. Like, it's the same thing. There are people out there who are recording Instagram videos of their cat because their cat threatened them in their sleep, Now that's not a hobby. They're trying to survive.
Okay, how many people own a cat, really? It's the
Contrary
community
to
where you
popular
are.
belief,
Yeah?
just people actually own cats.
People own cats and
People
dogs.
own dogs. People own snakes.
I actually want to have a dog.
People
I really
own
like
praying
dogs.
mantises. People own all sorts of things. Iguana, tigers. If you go to Dubai, and what's that other thing that sits on your shoulder? That bird. What's it called? A raven? No, it's not
a
a raven.
parrot?
Raven, a parrot.
It's not it's not a parrot. The parrot is the one that's annoying and repeats
Talks a
after
lot,
you.
yes.
Yes. There's the one that's native to like the Middle East. The one that's
It's not the owl.
I don't know if
It's
it's,
not
a
an
hawk.
hawk. No, it's not
I
a
don't know if it's a
hawk.
hawk or a
But they
raven
use it
or-
a lot in the Middle
Yeah,
East.
it's like an eagle kind of thing. Yeah.
I think if I were to get a pet, I need to get a bat.
What? Why would you want a bat for a pet, honestly speaking?
Yeah, because people are getting all
You
kind
are
of
weird.
things.
So that you can get a drug-resistant version of Mabag, and then we
You
have
know
a
these are the
pandemic,
people who are carrying
and we're back
Mabag
in
for us here.
lockdowns, and, okay. So just the thing is, hobbies should add something to your life, like a sense of peace, a good laugh. You scrolling through Instagram is not a hobby, by the way. Also, guys who are on TikTok, I'm coming for you. TikTok is not a hobby. Like, if you're recording your videos on TikTok so you can get likes and get paid, because I know TikTok doesn't pay, no? It's YouTube that pays,
It's
right?
YouTube.
So
and,
whoever is recording videos to get paid on YouTube, that's not a hobby, that's survival.
No, it's not to do videos to get paid. It is to create content, become an influencer because you have massive following,
And then get
so
paid.
brands can hire
Then
you
that is not a hobby.
to endorse their products.
That is a profession. That is not a hobby.
Okay.
So Juliana here goes sip and paint, right? But the painters out there, the guys that make paintings for like houses and stuff and what, those guys are not doing hobbies. That's their
That's
work.
their
Like
job. It's a
us, we're
hazard.
painting just for
For fun.
social
And for social media.
Yeah, so you can do those stick figures where your mind has the exact picture you want to bring out, but your body doesn't have the skill set to bring it out.
So what about beer testing, wine testing?
That's
Could
a
those-
hobby. That's a hobby because you're not surviving.
Where do they do that testing from, though?
Unless if you're a beer tester or a wine tester, because those people exist.
A
Like
professional.
Yeah, the guys who
They're
do food,
paid
they're
to do
trained
that.
to do that. Yeah.
I mean, there are industries in every industry. Say for example, at school, they even showed us how. So there's a specific person designed for that. They test. Those are called testers.
So
Chief
there's a
test-
thin line, Jesse. So for instance, I am a professional hater. I'm paid to hate on things. You call them naysayers, right?
Yes.
I'm a professional naysayer. But you, Jesse, that's a hobby.
I refuse.
I have somebody to defend me.
Because I know Jesse will naysay just for the sake of doing it once in a while. He's not like he doesn't do it all the time. I am professionally a naysayer. I will
You-
find
Is that what you
away.
paid for week
No,
on
I-
week?
So
hired
we are now
you?
differentiating between our hobby. So what's a hobby?
So a hobby is something that gives you relaxation, gives you a good laugh, makes you feel better. By the way, hobbies are pretty much what people do. So it's not the actions that determine whether it's a hobby or not. It's the intention behind. I'll give you an example. If you're the type that runs 10K and it relaxes your mind, then that's a hobby. But if you're the type that runs a mini marathon and after that mini marathon, you end up somewhere in hospital or almost dead, then that's a survival thing. Also, if you're running to lose weight, then that's not a hobby. That's a survival. If you're cooking for your friends over the weekend, that's a hobby. If you're cooking for your family, that's not a hobby. You're surviving.
Okay.
By the way, you guys, you need to come and we cook. I would cook for you happily.
Then that's a
Jesse.
hobby.
Jesse.
Yeah, I just want to exercise my hobbies
Yeah, then that's a hobby.
before the year ends. Listen,
Oh my God.
why are we talking about hobbies? The year is coming to an end. Some of us just claim hobbies. Have you ever seen people who write on their profile, my hobbies?
Yeah, I've
CV.
seen CVs
Like
with
hobbies
hobbies.
That's so
Do you
cliche,
guys have
by the
hobbies
way.
in your
football.
CVs?
I don't have that.
I also
nonsense.
don't have a hobby in my
No.
CV. But I think I need to include hobbies in my CV.
Like what? Like
Professional hater, naysayer.
I don't have that. I
Have you
don't know
met like
last
people
time.
who read everything they come across? Like literally read anything they come across that's written? That's not a hobby. That's survival. These people need to see a psychologist. I can recommend some. But if you're reading good books, like you're like, I have a few things I'm reading here and there, it's quite interesting, or you're doing some podcasts, or you're listening to some of your favorite authors, then that's a hobby. It's for the relaxation. But these are the guys who read everything they see. They're like, for me, I cannot be there without reading. I need a Kindle. Okay, there's nothing wrong with people with Kindles. I'm just saying. But people who read everything they come across, that's not a hobby.
Listen, I want to ask this very serious question. Why do you believe changing hobbies towards the end of the year, for instance, is important? Is it about personal growth? Is it about resetting the mind? Or is it something else?
I think it shouldn't be towards the end of the year. You can pick up a hobby any time in your life. The only reason why we are bringing it up this time is because this is like the best time to bring up such conversations, because it's the time when people are trying to reflect. It's like a mental kind of thing. Although if you have friends like from Ethiopia like I do, for them it's not the end of the year.
No,
Their
for
New
them they are
Year's is a-
still like
their
3
New Year
years
is a
behind.
different time.
Yeah.
Also friends from China, they're in a different year right now. So but this is the best time for people to actually start thinking about hobbies. And to answer your question, we've been pushing a lot for personal development. We've been pushing a lot for mental health. I think choosing hobbies might actually help you with your mental health, because I mentioned a bit earlier on that hobbies help you relax. So there are people that are not well balanced out. They work very much and they do very less of other things. And now that we are going for holidays and that sort of thing, you could meet these kind of people and sit with them and ask them, apart from your work, what do you do? Like, who are you? What kind of person are you? And they'll mention things like, I go to church. No.
Church is
They'll
not a
say, I'm a
hobby.
father. No.
That's
I'm
not.
a mom.
But being a parent,
no.
does it mean that's a hobby? No.
Exactly. So who are you? Like,
What are your
what's- what
hobbies?
makes-
Playing with the
What
children.
makes you tick? And people will have time to think about this because they've never really had time because they're busy being parents. They're busy working hard, which is understandable. The world we live in now is a world of like high performance and hustle and all that. But you might want to slow down this time and figure out what makes you tick. And that's the best time to pick a hobby. Also, don't pick hobbies that are similar to other people
So,
just because they're doing them. Pick something that makes you relax.
Exactly, that's where we're going now. How do we choose hobbies? How do we get to pick hobbies?
I think you could look at things like, for instance, I personally would say,
What? What?
He's about to talk about his hobby. Finally.
okay, so I'm saying, so if you're a broke,
What is his hobby?
so Juliana, if you're a broke person,
I don't know.
Right?
God, no.
watching the clouds
That
and the
is if
sunset.
what now? If one, if two.
So if you're a broke person,
Yeah.
right, watching the clouds, the sunset, that might be a good hobby to pick. Like,
Bad watching.
I guess no, bad watching is for rich
Now listen
people.
what people do when they are broke, especially when you're broke and you're dating, and then you have to go for a walk around the park because that's what you can do within your means.
Jesse,
Is that a hobby to just walk around the
It depends
park?
on where you live. Like, if you say, for example, you're going to the eco park, right? You gotta pay to get into the eco
You
park.
can't go to Zinyandungu.
You-
Do we pay
Is it
Zinyandungu?
free?
You have to drive your spouse, you and whoever you're dating, and then you guys have to
Kisutu
pay
to
to get in.
Nyandungu.
So
And then, yeah,
walking
that's
around
an
the park
expensive
is
hobby.
luxury.
I guess the best way to pick a hobby is pick stuff that makes you relax. That's the first part. But the stuff that makes you relax is broken into two parts. There's stuff that uses your Visa card, and then there's stuff that's free. I would start with
There's
the
one.
free stuff.
There's one that is free. I wanted to ask if that is a hobby, but
Which one?
maybe no.
Please ask.
Looking at
Guaranteed.
you, I think you need to ask. Do tell.
No,
for the love
I
of
know what
God.
she wants to ask. I just don't want
It
to let
is
her
free
ask.
of charge. That can be a hobby, by the way.
Oh, by the way,
Hugs. A hugs
drinking is not a hobby.
Hugging.
Listening to music.
Maybe if it makes you relax, because music is a good thing. Actually,
Hugs, Nasa.
hugging people
Yeah,
that
it's
requires
as
other
a
people to
hobby.
get involved. So I don't think that's a good hobby.
But it is relaxes.
yeah, but it's not I don't know.
It's not a good hobby, really.
So imagine if there was like no people. Remember the time when we were in lockdown,
You
right?
hug the tree.
And you're in your house. You should be able to keep continuing whatever it is that's your hobby. For instance, if we were in COVID, I would still continue to naysay.
Part of my job is to listen to music to make sure I have music for the radio. Would you say that's a hobby?
that's a hazard.
Oh, I turned my hobby into
You're
a survival
surviving,
instinct.
Jesse.
Oh God.
That's survival. That's survival.
Wow.
So even just watching the news is survival for me.
We are learning.
I
how
don't
to
have a
choose.
hobby.
No, clearly you don't have.
Is it possible to choose a hobby when you are an old man?
Yes, but let's be honest, not all hobbies are for everyone. Like, I tried yoga. I almost ended up in the emergency room. You can't
I'm
do
imagining you doing yoga.
at my age, you can't do a handstand. You know, like I'm not.
No, you are. You can actually. You don't do that. You're trying to say I can.
Listen.
You're trying to tell me I cannot do yoga
No,
myself.
if I pulled off a handstand, it would be ridiculous. I would pull it off, but
What took you there?
yoga was cool. Okay, usually these kind of things you'll be following your crush and stuff. In my case,
Exactly. What were you suffering from?
No,
was following his crush.
in my case, I wasn't following a crush. I was naysaying the whole thing. And then these yogis are like, "You think yoga is easy? Come try it out." I was like, "Yeah, looks easy. You guys should come lift weights like the rest of us." And they were like, "No, try yoga because yoga uses body weight, right?
Yes.
It is hard. Yoga
Wait a
is
minute,
hard.
what kind of body weight? I just see those people sitting on mats.
You
just
wait,
sitting
you go
on
there.
mats.
Yes, try it.
You go
Try
there.
it.
What
I
what
could
is
recommend.
difficult?
Hey.
People
I
have
can
been-
recommend a
you've been
spa.
Too lazy.
Try out the spa.
And just go sit on a mat and I'll get tired.
Yeah. I can
So-
give you an example of hobbies to try in 2025, where we're going, you know. And I think I'm going to start with like any hobby that requires your Visa card.
Avoid it.
No, you can still have that
No,
hobby.
2025 is going to be a difficult year.
I know my
Avoid
friends
it.
at the golf club, like they increased the prices now, so
You see, everything is going up.
yeah. And but you guys should start with things that
But playing golf is it a hobby?
it's a good hobby, but it's
a very good
expensive.
hobby,
It's a
by
very
the way.
good hobby, but it's
Most
very
people are there
expensive.
for
By
surviving.
the way, it's not
No.
expensive.
Like I
Me, I was
play
talking
golf
to the
because I
captain.
need to walk my bones.
So guys,
Old guys are out
that
there to
whole,
survive.
I mean, that whole theory of it's expensive to play golf, it needs to stop. And when I talk to the captains, they're trying to encourage people to come and play golf. Stop having it in your mind that playing golf is expensive. You know.
I think we live in two different worlds, but anyway,
You just need to meet the right people.
Yeah.
here's an example of
You meet
hobbies.
a sponsor, you can play golf.
Let's give an example of hobbies. I think, guys, whoever is out there and you want to try this hobby out with me, since I'm a naysayer, let's try stand-up comedy.
No, it's not for everyone.
Where we are the actors.
Yeah,
Where
we're
we
the
are
stand-up,
acting.
we're the comedians. Like, we need to try stand-up comedy. Like, it's a good hobby. You never know.
I think some people here would laugh at their own jokes, which the world wouldn't be laughing.
No, but there are times when Jesse wants to say something and he's saying it, but indirectly, right? So in stand-up comedy, you get to roast people. You invite people
Directly.
and then you roast them directly. You're like, now look at you.
So that's a hobby.
It could be a very good hobby because if you can get a good laugh,
If you're a sadist,
So I thought going for comedy is the hobby. To
No,
perform it
yeah,
is the hobby.
The guys who want to come and watch the comedy, they can do that as a hobby. Me, I want to be a comedian.
You choose
I
a
don't
so
know
we
if
are
I'll
now
make a
choosing.
good
So
comedian.
now, so NASA, we are now choosing between what's a good hobby and what's a bad hobby.
I simply told you a bad hobby if it's something that uses your Visa card and almost runs you broke.
That's a bad hobby.
That is terrible. If you end up in hospital like me with my handstands and yoga, that is terrible. Running is a good hobby if you're not running 20k, 30k. If your body can handle 20k, 30k, good for you. Cool. But I think you should be in the whereabouts of about 5 to 8k. There's so many other hobbies, and I'm not choosing running as a hobby. I meant physical activities, right? So things that don't require you to pay a lot of money, you could start there as a hobby. But things that require you survival, your responsibilities are not your hobbies. You can't say my hobby is to clean my house, or my hobby is to
That's
be a
not a
mom or a dad.
My hobby is to
So what are hobbies? What are those hobbies that we should try in 2025?
bird watching.
Swimming. Which one?
Bird
Bird
watching,
watching.
that's
Say what?
exotic.
Bird watching is
Okay,
for the
so
rich people.
depending on how broke
The
you
rich
are in
people,
January.
no.
Where will you watch birds from? Here.
Yes, there's birds everywhere. Depending on how broke
If you
you
want
are.
to go to Nyandungu, can you just go and
No,
start
by the way,
teething?
even in Kichuchiro Kagarama here,
Where?
near the barracks, there are
Where are
so
we going
many.
to watch
There's
what?
a thicket there. You could just go and look out for the birds.
Also, if you're broke in January, you know January has like
70
a year
days.
is 366 days, and 100 of them are in January. So during January, you guys can watch the stars. It's a good hobby, like astronomy and stuff. Because
But there are days where it's
You
very
need
dark and there's not
gadgets.
even one star.
still you're broke. It's good to reflect on the sky and think about where you made the wrong life choices in December.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is the best hobby when you are single and desperate?
is not to be single and desperate.
That's a hobby.
That's a good answer.
I used to
I
figure
like
out why
the
you're
response.
single and desperate.
Exactly.
Like,
So how do you make that to be something to reflect on and refresh
so
your
being
mind?
single is not a problem. It's a good thing, actually. You can be single, you can be in a relationship, you can be married, you can be, all that stuff is good, right? It doesn't matter. Desperate is not a good thing.
No.
So what do you do in such circumstances?
You try to
What
go-
hobbies do you pick up?
I think you go into a thought process of figuring out why you're desperate.
Do we call the boys that marry for money, or actually the boys that are dating girls
Boys
with
that
money?
marry
Is that
for
a
money.
hobby?
Huh? It's a survival.
No,
Survival
I'm asking.
instinct.
That's a way of looking at me.
I mean, I'm just...
The men who are dating women for,
For
their
money.
money. Is that a hobby?
They want to be sponsored.
It's the same for women who are dating men for money.
I beg. I am asking you. You see, it is just in nature
But
that women are
Juliana,
supposed to be given.
Juliana.
These days, tables are turning.
That's a weird
There's a
question.
man who married someone over the
I'm
weekend
just
for
trying
money.
to figure out why she has a problem with smart people.
Is
I
that
keep
being
saying
smart?
Yes, I
making
mean,
smart
if you
moves.
broke, date people with money. Or find
Nasa
money.
told us by the way when what the expo.
Find money. But I don't know,
He
work
doesn't want to
hard,
date
make
broke
money, work smart. I hate it when people say
But
work
isn't
hard.
that survival? Because I don't
Is that
see
a hobby also?
That
I
is
don't-
survival, I
it's
think. I
survival,
think
it's
these
not a
people,
hobby.
I think it's not really real. I think it's all about the money or the
material.
gains and what they're getting out of it. But listen, anything to do with relationships is not a hobby.
It's not a hobby. So relationships are not a hobby, but the activities that go on in the relationship
Yes,
Our
you guys
hobbies.
could take a walk together. That's a good hobby, but it's not.
I want to get that very clear.
You could
A
run
relationship
together. You
is
could
not
walk-
a hobby, but the activities that go in a relationships are hobbies.
That's as if you are in. When you're in a relationship, you are trying to survive.
Oh my god!
So we are confusing people here.
No,
Within
no,
your
Sabi, I'm
survival, you
asking.
pick a hobby.
So anyway, let me circle back a bit.
People
Right?
who are in relationships
Go back to the-
cannot
let's go back to
live
the hobbies.
alone.
Let me circle
We've
back a
taken it
bit.
to another
Right?
level. Yes.
So I'm gonna repeat this. A hobby is something that gives you relaxation, adds
Yeah.
something to your life, makes you feel better. Guys, drinking is not a hobby.
My
I know it
partner
gives you
makes me
relaxation and all
relax my
that.
mind.
Yeah, then you need to figure things out because that's not a hobby. So a hobby is something you could do without other people,
Yeah.
right? It's something that you could do without other people, and for you to pick like good ones or bad ones, it has to be something that does not push you over the edge.
Okay.
So what I meant earlier on is that it's okay to pick hobbies that use your Visa card if you're in that sort of like
That
bracket
class.
of money.
If you have money to throw
Yeah,
around.
like jet out to Switzerland this
And you have the
Christmas,
infinity one.
and then go shooting elk. I don't know you if you're that rich. And for those of you who are broke, I also have advice to you. There's many other things you can do to relax.
Like?
Listen to music, take a walk, watch the stars, especially in January. And the relationship is not a hobby. The hobby should be something that you could do on your own, and you can invite your spouse as well, by the way. It doesn't mean just because you guys are doing it together, it's not a hobby, but the relationship itself is not a hobby.
Okay.
It's survival.
We are looking for. It's
So when
survival.
somebody says, my hobby is to spend time with my significant other, what do they mean?
That is not a hobby.
I think people
They're
are misusing
confusing
words.
things.
I think you're missing information there. Maybe they just don't give enough information. Maybe they're the type that are introverted. So my hobby is to spend time with my significant
get to
other.
make me-
Doing what?
Talking.
Listening to music,
Adult talking.
sauna, what? Walking to Nyandungu or what? Doing
No,
what?
you can
Naysaying.
take Sauda out of the equation for January. I think
Naysaying.
that is
What do you
like
mean?
15K every time you go to the sauna.
Wait,
too.
they're that cheap?
The 15K
Oh my
for
god.
the
Nasa, did you
cheapest.
say 15K is cheap for a sauna?
Okay, affordable.
No.
I take it back.
That's crazy. That
Affordable.
15K is a lot of money, by the way.
Yeah, some places 25,
Affordable.
but 50. There is even sauna for 3K.
I would be worried.
Where is that one of 3K?
I would be
I
worried.
take you.
I would be worried if it was 3K.
I am actually worried. And what's the best price for massage, like for a spa?
Best price for.
I mean the
You
list.
mean like the whole package and what?
No, like a proper good masseuse that comes to your house and does.
Okay,
You
the
want
ones,
one
that,
for
the
the
ones that
house.
comes to the house, I don't know about that. That's rich people stuff, but I know that for a normal spa, average prices range between maybe 80 to 90K.
What?
Yes,
80?
yes, it's that. It's
Yeah,
that.
it is.
That's why people do that. I might have even quoted because
Yeah,
people
I
do
think
that
you
for relaxation
underquoted.
and whatever.
So,
it's
Jesse,
a
the spas
whole
you go,
profession.
You every day time you are at a spa, you have paid 100K or
I
80K.
have sponsors.
Also, Jesse, I feel like you two need to talk about levels of income and what do they call it in Kinyarwanda? Something like that, right?
Okay.
Ibichiro nyine bi- But I mean, you guys, who am I dealing with? You guys are going to spas of 80K.
I'm not. I don't do.
Yes, way.
Let me not snitch on myself.
I am starting to worry.
No, the
people are
idea
doing
is you need to plan. Okay? If you feel it's important for your health to make as many visits to the spa for a massage, then plan for it and go for it.
So by my salary, I have to plan that I am paying 160K for spa. That goes aside. Yeah, twice in a month.
I mean, what is the reason for you to keep working and you have a back problem?
See?
Yeah, pick part of your
So,
money
Juliana,
to
a
save
lot of the
yourself.
survival stuff is expensive. If you go to see, like, I was checking like prices on one of those websites where there's a good psychologist, psyche
Shrink?
kind of place, and they were charging on average a session about 70,000. I don't know how long a session usually is, but they charge per session, right? And I'm like 70,000 may be a lot of money to like most people, but for mental health,
Yeah, that's
that
very
is
important.
priceless, right?
So
They should even charge more.
That's different going to sauna and you pay sauna of 70K.
There's no sauna of 70K.
But that's the whole
a bit,
thing.
a bit high.
Sauna, that's a spa thing.
No, the
so-
spa is not sauna. Spa is an entirely different thing.
I
Yeah.
don't know how you guys feel. I have to pay money and to go burn myself up. What kind of nonsense
But you know,
is that?
again, the hobbies we're talking about, you can choose to walk under the sun. It's okay,
You
sweat
can watch
and
the
then go home.
stars. You can cook for us.
I will cook for you guys. Don't worry.
But
But
You can go
Who are
for
you
walks,
cooking
you
for over
can
the
bird
weekends?
watch.
bird watching.
Yeah, you could
I
listen
have
to music. By the
I
way,
have to drive to Nyandungu to actually. That's another fuel expense.
a very affordable
realize?
hobby. Let me tell you a very affordable hobby, guys.
It's to breathe.
No. There's a very affordable hobby.
Yes.
It's simply a good pair of headphones and a good playlist of music.
That I need to
Does
buy
the
myself a
trick
gift,
all the
Christmas gift. I
time.
need
That's
headsets.
that's
the
not true.
trick.
A pair of headphones could be expensive.
No, a good pair of headphones might even be
Well,
3,000
like
francs.
Beats by Dre.
No.
Good pair of
Yeah, good
headphones.
pair of
That's
headphones,
3K.
yeah, 3K.
Which brand is that?
It depends on the phone you bought. Now, you iPhone users
3K.
have been
Are we talking about? Are we talking dollars or talking about francs?
3,000 francs.
Wow.
Yeah, grab yourself
headphones.
a pair.
I wanted to buy myself a Christmas gift of very good.
I'm talking
Beats.
about the ones you plug into some sort of 3mm jack, and then you listen to your music.
Please don't do that yourself. You get headaches.
No, this is
3,000
where you get
for
cancers
headphones.
from.
No.
I want you guys to bet money. I get you headphones of 3,000, and if they're good, I'm taking all your money.
I'm betting my 15,000.
You see,
I'm
Good
taking all your
headphones
money.
for 3K.
Jesse. Yeah.
Because I would give to
with
Juliana.
good sound at 3K.
Yeah, they're good.
Okay.
I don't know. They just won't work in your iPhone, Jesse. But for Juliana, who has like Android phones are still nice. They still have a 3mm jack. If you have a phone with a 3mm jack, you're brilliant because
This is an iTel. Meanwhile, don't worry.
no, I mean even Samsung and all these other phones, they still put a 3mm jack. It's the Apple people that thought it's a brilliant idea to remove that thing when phones
Actually,
were still nice.
I really want a very nice Apple, headsets. Really good. As a Christmas gift.
Those are AirPods, and those cost a lot of money for nothing, and I wouldn't recommend them.
So, so Merry Christmas to you, Nasa.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays, by the way. What are your plans for the holidays?
I'm going to do more of my hobbies. I'm going to do stand-up comedy. I'm going to naysay.
You're going to birdwatch?
I'm going to make people feel elevated.
Please could you send us invitations because I really want to attend your comedy
I need
sessions.
you guys to come to my stand-up comedy. I'll just be standing somewhere in a park. You know, it's not a paid comedy.
I bet you'd lose the audience in 3 minutes because
Kigali in the morning brings you the 8 at 8. 8 big